What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a long-awaited, highly requested story video for you guys about my first time doing acid/LSD. But before I go any further in this video, I'd like to mention a couple things. First off, check out Grynel and follow him on Twitter /sub to him in the description below for making this thumbnail for me. Really do appreciate it. And this gameplay is brought to you by yours truly, myself. Just give me a round of applause. I don't even know what the gameplay is going to be, but it's probably going to be awful, like a 40 and 20. I don't fucking know. That's like pretty good for me. But either way, before I go any further, I'd also like to mention, excuse me, I kind of started there, that I know for a fact that what I did was acid, not 25I, NB, OME, or whatever it's called. I don't remember the exact letters or whatever. But, for those of you who are into psychedelics, you should know what I'm talking about when I say that. So I would just like to mention that I know for a fact what I did was real, and it was authentic, and I have a very reliable person. But anyways, let's go into it. So, first time doing LSD. So, if any police are listening, this is a joke. This is for entertainment purposes only. Read the disclaimer in the description. But anyways, so I was at my friend's house. This was in like early February, right? My buddy, we're gonna call him Chad. All right. I was at my friend Chad's house with my other buddy Ron. All right. So it was Chad and Ron, and we were cooling it at Chad's house because his parents left for the weekend, and he had an open crib all weekend. And, for those of you who don't know what that means, it just means no parents home. So, we all went over there. It was me, Chad, and Ron, and, we were all cooling it over there. And we invited a bunch of people over, and, we got some bud. We smoked a little bit. And, the day before, my buddy gave me 3 tabs of acid, and, he sold them to me for a good price. Not going to say, but it was good. It was a justified price. It was good. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, so I had 3, and we were each going to drop 1 for our first time because we wanted to try it together. And, we went over to Chad's house. We were all cooling it there. We smoked a little bit so we could get high before. And we were sitting out back on his patio smoking a blunt. And we finished the blunt, and we each dropped a tab. Me and Ron dropped ours together, and then Chad dropped his a little later, like an hour later about. So, like, ours had already hit by the time he dropped his because he just wanted to see, like, how we would react. And, my buddy Ron had done acid before, so, he knew what he was doing, and we also had people there who weren't tripping, so we had people to, like, babysit us in case anything went wrong. So it was a pretty good scenario we were in. We really did plan it out and make sure that we had, like, the prime setting to be in to drop acid, because that's the key thing when you do LSD or any psychedelic in general. You want to make sure you have, like, a really good plan of, like, where you're going to be, who you're going to be with, and what you want to do. You always want to make sure there's, like, good vibes around you, and you're with people you want to be with, and good friends, and, like, just places you want to be. And typically I'd recommend you do psychedelics on like a nice day. We did this during the night though, because we thought that would be pretty cool, which it did turn out to be pretty damn interesting. So we dropped our acid, and, we were sitting there waiting for it to kick in. We smoked another blunt about 20 minutes after we dropped our tabs, and I was sitting there playing a game of League of Legends, and my buddy was upstairs. My buddy Ron was upstairs playing his game, and then my buddy Chad had just about dropped his, and the game had just started. Me and Ron were about 5 minutes into our League game. We were having a little LAN party, cooling it. We brought our computers over, and it hit me. It hit me really hard. I wasn't expecting it because I didn't know what acid was going to be, and I was playing the game, and all of a sudden, the screen kind of widened a little bit. It kind of like, it started morphing almost, as if like, it was really subtle. It wasn't strong. It was like really, really subtle. Just like it looked shaped a little differently, and it looked like there was a pattern over it, like some sort of like someone put like a Persian rug over it or some shit. But it was like the opacity was turned down to like 5% in Photoshop. Like, if that makes any sense, it probably doesn't, but it's really hard to explain. And the colors became really vibrant over time. Like, this all slowly set in. It wasn't immediately like it just hit me like that. This over the span of hours set in. I'm just describing the effects of like what it looked like throughout the span of this League game and like these couple League games that I played, because I played a couple consecutively. So the colors were vibrant. It was really hard to focus on like what I was supposed to be doing and like building, because I was just so amazed with like the colors of the game and the map and like my character, and like it was just so incredible. Like, I couldn't focus on the game. I played terribly. I fed really hard. I think I was like 2-9. Like, I played like shit. But that wasn't the point. I didn't care. We lost and we had a blast, and that's what counted. We were on Skype, and even though like we were literally like a room away from each other, we were still on Skype, and it was incredible. It was just a good time. It was a fun time, and we finished playing a couple league games, and we got up. And by this time, Chad's acid had kicked in, and he didn't really do very many drugs. You know, he doesn't like he'd smoked some weed and like pop some Zans before, but that's about it. So acid hit this kid like a truck, and he almost had a bad trip, but luckily we did pull him out of it because we just calmed him down, smoked some weed, and like played some games. Like we played a shit ton of PS4 and like computer games and shit. It was so fun. It was a good time, and it was kind of like as I got further into the trip, like I spent most of the night at this kid's house. So, I did have to walk home eventually, which I'll get to later because that was horrifying. But anyways, we finished these league games, and Chad's trip was kind of setting in. It was kind of going poorly, so we cheered him up. We smoked a little bit. We went out back and smoked some more, and we came back in his house, and he made some food. He made some weird ass like meat casserole thing. It was some like protein thing. I don't know what it was. It was weird, but it was pretty good. We ate it. It was a hoot. And then after that, when we tried to watch TV, I think we watched like King of the Hill, but I couldn't really comprehend like what was happening in the show because I was just so distracted with the environment around me, and I really wanted to go outside, but no one else wanted to go outside with me, and it sucked. So it was kind of killing my trip a little bit. So, I went outside and I stood on the porch a little bit, and I was like walking up and down the driveway, just looking at the grass and the trees and like the sky and the stars, and like it was incredible, and like no one else wanted to go outside, and I was really upset about it. So, after I spent my little time outside, I went back in to find that Chad was just having an awful trip, just laying on the bed, like just face down, and Ron was just sitting on Chad's computer playing more League. So, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go downstairs. Fuck that. So I sat downstairs, played another game of League. Just same thing, really colorful, really interesting, played terribly. Don't think we won a single game, that night. And then it was around like 11:30 p.m. and a ton of people had came and gone. We had a bunch of like friends that had stopped in and said what's up just to like see how we were doing, and then left, and like, but it was mainly just us three there the whole night. And then, finally I had to walk home because I chose not to drive. I live right down the street, and I don't want to drive off acid. That sounds like a horrible idea. So, I started walking home, and what was supposed to be a 5-minute walk turned into like a 30-minute walk because I was walking, and the sidewalk, it was almost as if it was literally getting longer. Like, I don't know if I was walking too slow or if my concept of time was just really slow or like what was happening. But it felt like the walk took hours, but it was like a 5-minute walk, and like the sidewalk looked so long, and like the trees looked so tall, like they were towering over me. It was fucking crazy, but it wasn't scary. It was cool. It was just like, it was really unusual. Like I'd never experienced a psychedelic drug before. I'd never done anything that had like fucked with my vision before. So like this was really, really new to me, and it was crazy. And I got home and my mom was sitting there, and she was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing, Nick?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck." And she was watching some documentary on like fucking Eddie Murphy or some shit, and it was just hilarious because I was tripping balls. So I was just laughing so hard the whole time, and she had no clue why. And finally I just went back to my room, and I kept watching videos on like Martin Shkreli, the guy who like ramped up prices on like aid drugs, and I was like really interested in like why he was such a dickhead. And like then I smoked another blunt, and then I watched some YouTube videos, and after that I think I just blacked out because it became like really early in the morning. And yeah, that was my first time doing LSD. Overall, it was a really incredible experience, and I currently love LSD. It's one of my favorite drugs, and I, if you're ready for it and if you have the right setting, I highly recommend you do try it with friends. But don't be stupid about it, and don't do it if you're not ready. That's all I'm going to say. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, subscribe if you're not already, if you enjoyed this video, and check out Grindel for making this thumbnail for me in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Share your experiences with LSD in the comment section below if you've had any, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.